All right, we are good to go. Okay, if for those of you guys that don't know Josh Coates, I worked with him one-on-one for, I don't know, forever, like forever, over 2 years, 3 years,
Yeah,
something like
like
that.
2.5.
Love him to pieces, like mindset, leadership, just pushing you to live your full potential and like grow into the best version of yourself. He's incredible. So he is teaming up with Chris, who hopefully you guys all know who Chris is, the creator of Shift Shop. We all love that program. They're teaming up together to do, I don't even really know all the things. I want you to go into it, but basically just to help everyone level up and finish the year strong and just make it what it can be and create momentum for the new year. So the Chris Downing, legit. So I'm going to turn over the time to you guys because I want you guys to have as much time as possible.
Hold on real quick. Amanda, what is that? That's kind of dope.
What is what?
Stick. What is it?
Oh, it's my tripod.
Oh, all right.
I was like, what? I thought I was in trouble.
That's what I thought too. I was like, somebody's about to get it. CD's coming down on him. He's like, I see you working out in the background, and that's the worst push-up I've ever seen in my life. Fix it now. Guys, we're so excited to hang with you. Me and CD been on a little bit of like a internet tour. Going live on IG together. We spoke for my buddy Molly Asplin last night. Tomorrow night we're speaking for Melissa and Danielle, a couple more buddies. And we're just honored to hang with you guys because we know that something that Grant Cardone says is that businesses are built in surges. Okay? Businesses are built in surges. And Micah's actually talked about this before. I think it was like a year and a half ago. She had Melissa speak on taking advantage of a launch and how it was, I don't remember which program it was, but it was using a specific program, like really, really, really took her business to the next level. And one of the reasons for that is, you know, sometimes I think we get a little too excited about the compound effect and we almost take advantage of it in the wrong way. And what I mean by that is the compound effect says, hey, if we just do the little things that matter over time, it's going to equal great results. And sometimes we like to hide behind doing the little things and never challenge ourselves to do the big things. And so we never actually embrace the surge. And we kind of convince ourselves a lot of times, as you guys have heard me say like a million times, we convince ourselves a lot of times that we're doing the little stuff that matters, when in reality, we ain't even doing the little stuff that matters. Like we're just doing little stuff. Like that's it. Just doing little stuff and then praying to God that eventually the compound effect works. And sometimes it doesn't work. And it's not that it doesn't work, because it does. It's that you weren't doing any of the right stuff. You know what I'm saying? And you were chasing freaking tail in circles and you didn't embrace any of the surges. And it's crazy because seriously, I know Micah has already told you this 30 times. A million other people have already told you this 30 times, that the end of the year is the most important part of the year, because January is the surge that literally everyone has been praying for in their business that you miss out on if you peace out in November and December. Because people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And if you peace out in November and December, don't nobody know you or trust you come January. And as entrepreneurs and as growth-oriented people, we have to be the people who show up when no one else shows up. That's how we build trust. That's how we add value. And so this morning, I spoke like 5 times last night. So it's like I've got a little, tonight is still in my head. We want to talk to you about how to finish strong. It's one thing to tell you to finish strong. It's one thing to tell you buckle up, buttercup. It's another thing to actually give you some tangible things. They're going to actually help you to put some things together and do some things. So me and Chris are going to give you kind of our top tips on how to make sure you like run through the freaking finish line. We got any sports girls? I know Micah's a sports girl. We got any others? Yeah, I know. All right. What do you got to do? You don't run to the finish line. You run through the finish line. Why is that? Because if you don't run through and somebody else does, you're going to get beat. Now, This isn't a competition against anyone else, but it is a competition against yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a competition to see, can you reach your full potential? And you can't reach your full potential slowing down. And as I love to quote this saying from Carl, he said a couple of years ago to Super Saturday, he said, the head always wants to stop, but the heart always wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you, going into the holidays, the head, it all kinds of wants to stop. And this is the time you got to dig in to listen to what I believe lives on the inside of every single one of us, which is a still small voice. You see, our head is so loud. Our head is like shouting and screaming and yelling. Yeah, but it's the holidays. Yeah, but family's coming. Yeah, but you hate your in-laws and you're about to spend 7 days with them. Yeah, but I owe it to myself to have a break. Meanwhile, everybody else took 2 days off from work and you took 2 months off from work. I don't know why as entrepreneurs, we earned 2 months off. So today we want to just chat with you about that and help light a fire. I believe that me and CD, we kind of just like, we're like two spirits from like, I don't know, like from like the same cocoon or something. I don't even know what that means, but like something weird like that. And today we want to talk to you about how to put that together. And so our first tip to you tonight, first thing that you got to do if you want to really, really, really finish strong, and Chris is going to talk to you about how to do this specifically, is you got to put yourself first. And a lot of you know this from health and fitness, but we want to take it further and talk a little bit deeper about putting you first when it comes to morning routine, when it comes to personal development, your mindset, all of that. CD, I'm going to let you take over and take these girls to church.
He said take them to church. All right, so the only way this is going to work is if we're 100% transparent. You guys agree with me? Because I'm pretty sure if you've done any of my workouts at any event, I'm like crazy transparent. Like I just start reading mail. So, and this is our little group, our little circle. Raise your hand if you're not 100% happy where you are personally and professionally. Just give it to me straight. Okay. Now, hold that for a second. Raise your hand if you were affected by the compensation change at Beachbody when everything shifted. Raise your hand. All right. So this is what people don't understand. When that whole compensation thing made a shift, I got affected by it. And here's how I got affected by it. Because when that shifted, everything else shifted. So Shift Shop was the last DVD program, but it was really the first program that launched on BOD. And BOD wasn't really, it's a lot better now than what it was then. It was 2 years ago. So when everything went digital, I got caught in that mix. If you guys notice, every program got an infomercial but me. And I'm the one that's supposed to be on TV. I'm the one that's going to talk to the person that came home from the club and motivate them, right? So I kind of got, and that's was part of the reason why we relaunched it. And even relaunching it, it still didn't do that much better because we just added like 4 workouts. When technically what I thought I should have got is just a whole new program. So basically I got one program in a couple years. Now, that one program I think was hands down my best work because people in Shift Shop is a personal development program. I'm just using exercise to deliver personal development. If you go back and listen, the program is so dope that you don't even have to do the workout. Just sit there and listen to it and it'll speak to you, right? And so the reason why I feel like it hasn't really taken off like a P90X or a tool, people just aren't ready for that message. They're not. They're just not ready to be challenged internally. And there's so many subliminal things in a positive way that I'm saying in there that now people are starting to wake up. And I think that's part of the reason why Josh and I just collided like brothers from a different mother. There's things that you've done up until this point that you have to say has not given you the results you want. Yep, you've gotten results. You've made some steps forward, but then how many steps have you made backwards? And then forward, and then backwards. And then get emotionally engaged with some type of change or something that's out of your control, that you thought was out of your control. and it almost made you question what you're doing, question if this works. So then you resort to the mindset of now you got to try to push your people to produce more and believe more. But how can you get them to believe more if you don't believe? When I was doing that, my internet tour for Proving Grounds, I did 135 coach calls in 4 weeks. That's insane. And when I was doing it, you know how we are when we do our coach calls. We talk about the program, right? You guys want to know. So I always say a prayer before I do every call. I said a prayer, and I just felt the Spirit just tell me, don't talk about your program. It's a deeper rooted issue here. So I asked a question on every call, guys. What do you struggle with in your business? Belief, inviting, rejection, all of these different things that 135 calls, 90% of the people said that. So I had to just be straight up honest with them. I'm gonna be on here for an hour. I don't even feel comfortable sharing my program with you because you don't believe anyway. Let's just take the bulk of the time, which is about 40 minutes, and let's work on personal development. Let's work on me building you up. Let me help you remove these anchors and these limited beliefs, these mental strongholds. And if we have some time over, then we'll talk about my program. Why? Because for me, it wasn't about the sales. It was about a group of people who are coaches who have a commission-based business that bust their tail. They got to create every dollar to feed their family, to support their lives. The same people that busted their tail to put me on the platform that I'm on. So you guys didn't realize that you're more important than the super trainers, did you? You didn't understand you got more value than the super trainers, do you? Because without you, we don't exist. You might not hear that from anybody else, so I'm telling you. So I had to get off the platform and get in the trenches with everybody else. Now, I'm saying all that to say this. You've done things to this point that haven't gotten you the results you want. Why is that? What do you think's really holding you back? What if you've maximized the level that you're already on? When people start feeling like they plateau or they're stuck, really you maxed out that level. It's time for you to reinvent yourself and go to the next level. So I have this concept that I shared with Josh on our podcast we did. It was so dope. If you haven't watched that, listen to that podcast, you got to go back and listen to it. I told Josh there's this thing called the old you versus the new you. If you like me, you got a pass of tons and tons and tons of mistakes. It takes way too much time for me to go into the past and fix all the mistakes I made in my life. I'm going to miss out on what's in front of me. So I convince myself it's better for me to create a new reality, to create a new version of myself. So I'm the type of person, I get up at 3:30 in the morning, right? So in practicing this, I told myself, okay, I'm going to get uncomfortable. I'm going to get up at 3 a.m. Now, that's a sacrifice. But the new me gets up at 3 a.m. Now, there's a gap between 3 a.m. and 3:30. What am I going to do in that gap? In that gap, I fill it with gratitude. My new self is now getting up 30 minutes earlier and already thanking God for what I already have, even though it's physically not here. And in doing that, I just started noticing that I started changing everything. I started changing the way I work out. I started changing. I'm going to my gym, lighting people on fire because I'm a newer version of myself. And then when I started doing this, guys, I started realizing things just started changing. It started changing physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I start feeling wealth in all these different areas of my life. Before I know it, wealth starts knocking on the doors. Because of wealth and opportunities, wealth in people, not just money. Wealth and opportunities, wealth in people, wealth in relationships. Most importantly, a wealth and a gift that I'm able to pour out my heart and love on people and help them see a reality they currently don't see. And so there's this whole concept of this old you versus new you. It's not about elite, 50-star diamond, whatever, how many diamonds y'all got. It's not about that. See, in your mind, you think you got to rank to feel validated. Now, I love Summit. Summit's the best time for me because I get to see everybody. I get to lead workouts. I get to take a ton of pictures. I get to tell you guys how much I appreciate you. But let me be your friend and tell you something. You don't need to walk across the stage at Summit to feel validated in the coach and the person you really are. When you walk the face of this earth every single day, that's the biggest stage you'll ever walk on. And guess what? There's millions of people that are waiting on you right now to be the greatest version of yourself so you can help them. You can't help nobody at Summit because everybody's just like you or aspiring to be. But on this planet Earth, the greatest version of yourself, there's people right now walking in darkness, walking deceived, walking manipulated, thinking that there's no opportunity and you got all the answers and solutions for them. But if you don't know it, you become just like them. So now we're entering into the last quarter, right? This is the last quarter, which is hard times, which is for many people is the hardest time of the year. Say someone lost a loved one, you're going to the holidays, you're grieving. This is a time where you spend the most money. This is a time where emotionally you have to release a lot for the sake of so much, your family, your kids, even your business. This is a time when most people take off because they tell themselves, you know what, this year didn't go the way I wanted to do. I'm just gonna pick back up in January. That's the worst mistake you can make. No, here's the deal. Josh said it earlier. We talked about this last week. January 1st is the most important celebrated day of the year globally. Everybody and their mama is waiting on that ball to drop to pursue their dreams and goals, to get in better shape, to read that next book, to write that next book, to create a new reality. I'm an energy person. So let's check this out. Let's just say everybody in the world is waiting on this one day. And I believe that energy attracts energy. If Josh and I walk in a room and to speak, we're going to light that room up. Everybody's going to feel energetic. So my thing is this. If your business isn't where it's supposed to be and you enter in the last quarter, I believe we can borrow people's energy. We don't have to wait till the ball drop to go to the next level. We can go to the next level now. Now watch. When the ball drop, everybody has this energy and this passion, this intention to do better. What if you already mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually where you need to be? You can borrow that energy on the first and go to an even higher level. Because guess what? Most people only keep those goals for the first 20 days of January anyway. But if you got a 2-month head start, you grab that momentum where you think you're supposed to be in January, you actually in April. You already ahead of the curve. That's the way I think. Look at it like this. I'll turn it back over to Josh. Everything happens for a reason. Me getting caught in that whole compensation shift, digital shift was hands down the best thing that ever happened to me. You know why? Because it forced me to blaze new trails. It forced me to. It forced me to rely on my gift, rely on my purpose, and not on the product. You understand what I'm saying? Because when the product leaves, your purpose is always going to be there. So my challenge to you guys is I don't want you to get down about what happened. I want you to get excited about what's to come. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I just want to kind of add to that because a couple of weeks ago, so I reached out to Chris, and to be honest, I don't really remember exactly why. I'm kind of always looking for guests for my podcast. And I went to somebody in one of my groups, I forget what it was, and saw that maybe they had tagged Chris. Maybe they were friends with I don't even remember why. So I was just like, I'm going to hit this guy up with a friend request. And I think he accepted it. And I think it was just as simple as that. And then I was like, hey, bro, would you want to be on my podcast sometime? He's like, yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. So he gets on my podcast. Now, I'm at a time right now. This is a couple weeks ago where I had just spent 3 weeks promoting this bad boy, which appreciate all of you guys who have gone out and grabbed your copy. What's up, my boy Jake? How you doing, boy? And I had just let myself get lost, absolutely lost in this book promotion, to where I was like waking up every single day, checking Amazon reports, checking, are we still number one? Did we drop a spot? Do I need to make another story? Do I need to send out another email? And I got to the point where I was obsessing over things I couldn't really control. I don't know if you guys have realized this, but checking your Instagram notifications doesn't actually change the amount of times people will like or comment on your post. And I remember doing that back at the beginning of my business. And I had to get to the point where it's like, okay, Josh, shut down the notifications. Stop looking at everything. Stop. Like, that's not helping your business. Go do the things that matter and then check out. Well, this book launch, I've never done a book launch before. And sometimes you got to learn by trial and error. And sometimes you learn by trial and error because you just jump into it so hard, you work yourself sick. And then you wake up one day and you're like, dang, that was not the right way to do that. And I've found myself kind of having like almost these like anxiety attacks, whereas like we're about to move into this new house. We got a bunch of money we got to put down. And I just spent 2 months of my life promoting something that doesn't really make money. Because honestly, selling a book is actually just as hard, if not harder, than selling a virtual training course, except for virtual training courses are $200 and we were selling my book for 99 cents to help it get to the bestseller. So I'm trading out $200 sales for 99. Imagine if for the next 2 months you stopped selling challenge packs and sold 99-cent sample packs, right? Not a lot of volume in there at all. And so I got so lost in this that it's like best version versus worst version. I definitely was operating out of worst version. And I'm going to tell you something. The worst version of yourself is not creative. The worst version of yourself is not inspired. It is not motivating for others to watch. The worst version of yourself has nothing to offer the world around you. And Chris comes on this podcast and starts talking and just everything he's saying about, you know, the inner self and about working on yourself and gratitude and all this stuff. And I'm just like, man, it was a wake up call. I was like, bro, I know you came on this podcast for my listeners, but you just took me to church today. And starting that very next morning, I started waking up and going and laying on the couch. And the thing was, my body was still too physically exhausted to even work out for about a week. So what I did was I said, man, my body's not in a place where I can even work out. I'm gonna go lay on that couch and I'm gonna meditate. And I'm just gonna think about affirmations and I'm gonna pray. I'm literally just gonna spend an entire hour before I go do anything else, just thinking positive thoughts, thanking God for the life that I have, thanking God for my kids, and literally just spend an entire hour just filling this and this with positive things. And it's like, it took a couple days, guys. But about 3 days later, all of the anxiety was gone. I was no longer anxious about money, what was happening, what wasn't happening. And this affirmation came out. I started saying this and I'm still saying it every single morning. The best version of me will figure it out. The best version of me is going to figure it out. Like, Josh, where's this? And then these thoughts would start coming, Josh, remember, you got to come with extra closing costs. It's like $5,000 more than what you thought it was going to be. Hold up. The best version of me can figure that out. Now, the worst version of me don't even know where to get $5,000, guys. The worst version of me be detailing cars 40 hours a week trying to figure out how to pay the bills. But the best version of me has done some really crazy stuff, and I'm just going to trust that the best version of me, he can handle this. How's he going to handle it? I don't know. The best version of me is just going to figure it out. And I just kept saying that over and over and over and over and over and over. And it's like, the beautiful thing about this affirmation is it encourages you to keep focusing on becoming the best version. And it's almost like an action-oriented affirmation that says, bro, worrying ain't going to fix nothing. But if we go do some positive affirmations, if we go do some personal development, if we go do some things that take care of me, I'm going to grow into the person who can solve the problems. And it was literally like 6 or 7 days later, all of my anxiety was gone. All of my worry was gone, and sales just started boom, 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 boom. I almost hate to tell a story that has that quick of a solution, because I don't want to be the guy that's like, hey, if you say affirmations, by next week, you'll be a millionaire. But I'm just going to tell you, when you get in alignment with your creator, and when you get in alignment with who you were created to be, there's really some magical stuff that starts to happen. Okay. So number one is you got to work on you. And some of you got pressure to rank advance, and I want you to rank advance, but I want you to remember that the best version of you is the one that's going to rank advance, not the worst version of you. Some of you are trying to grow an Instagram page, and I just want to remind you, the best version of yourself is going to increase engagement, and the worst version of yourself with every hack in the world still won't matter. The best version of you is going to get you there, okay? Number two thing you got to do is you got to have what I call the will to win. And the will to win just simply says this. I'm going to give you an analogy, okay? How many of you got husbands that cannot find anything no matter how hard they say they try? And when they say they try, you know they lying, right? Husband be like, I can't find my keys, babe. You know where my keys are? And you're like, well, did you look for them? I looked everywhere. Like the word ever, Jake, you know what I'm talking about. I do it too. It's okay. I looked everywhere. Now, when we say everywhere, just so you know, you already know this, but I'm just going to go ahead and confirm what you believe. What we've really done is we checked the 2 places we thought it might be, like the 2 places it normally is. And if it weren't in those 2 places in our head, we looked everywhere because those were the only 2 places on our checklist. Like we made up a mental checklist of everywhere the keys could be, and that included next to the door and on the counter. And if they weren't there, check, check. I looked everywhere. I don't know what to do. And what happens when a woman goes to look for those keys? 45 seconds left. 45 seconds later, she's got them. She's like, hey, dummy, I thought you said you looked everywhere. They're on the table. The table in the wide open. Anyone, you could have ran into these keys, right? Literally just happened this morning. So here's the difference. When a man goes to look for keys, he's going to look where he thinks they might be. And a woman is going to look everywhere until she finds them. And the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is unsuccessful people go, well, I posted over here and I posted over there. I talked to this person and this person. I did everything and it just doesn't work. In your head, you made up a checklist of the things you thought you needed to do today. And if you did those things and didn't succeed, in your head, you did everything you could. Successful people do not give up. They have the mentality of a woman looking for a set of keys, and that is, I will look everywhere, because if the keys exist, they have to be somewhere, which means I can find them. If I just look in enough places, yes, I might have to dig. I might have to pull up some blankets. I might have to look under a poopy diaper that accidentally got left there yesterday morning. But if I look in enough places, if the keys exist, I can find them. And here's the thing. Success, if it can exist for one human, that means it exists for every human. Mm-hmm. The keys are in your house. You understand me? Your potential on the inside is just as much as anyone's else, which means the success, it lives on the inside. It's already there. The difference is somebody else was willing to look until they found success, and you just looked where it was convenient and gave up when that wasn't where you found it. Mm-hmm. And so what you got to do is you got to say, I am literally using my willpower. Mm-hmm. I will will this thing. My first year, you guys know my story. Made 2 sales, $500. But I kept looking in the mirror and saying, you got to keep growing. You got to keep growing. What was I doing? I was determined that success was going to be mine. And it didn't matter how many obstacles I had to go through. It didn't matter how many times I fell. It wasn't let's see if this happens in the next 6 months. It was, I'm going to go get it, even if it takes me 5 years. And I'd already kind of decided in my head that it probably would take 5 years because I sucked. I'm just going to go ahead and pretend it's going to take all of 5 years to get there, because I don't know why a guy with 0 entrepreneurial experience would expect to have success in 6 months of just diving into a completely new industry. See, I was smart enough to know how bad I sucked, but to realize that just meant I needed to work that much harder, not give myself an excuse to back out. Some of you look at some girls and you're like, well, she has this and she has this and she has this and she has this. Shouldn't that be your motivation to work harder than her, not less hard? Like if you found some things that the more successful people have that you don't, I'm like, I better go to work. One of the reasons my business blew up the way, guys, in year 3, my business outgrew my mentors. My business started outgrowing the people that were the faculty members teaching me on the John Maxwell team. And they started reaching out to me, asking me for help. How does that happen? Do you know how that happens? In my head, I determined my only hope is to just outwork everyone here. And what I found was that my hard work was able to outproduce everyone else's natural talents. See, they've been hanging out. They've been collecting paychecks for 10 years, and they got cozy. They got real cozy. And I'm over here listening to Grant Cardone. And Grant Cardone, there's one word in his vocabulary that doesn't exist, and it's definitely cozy. Cozy does not exist in Grant Cardone's vocabulary. And so they're resting on their laurels. They're saying, you know what, we got this. We got this speaking career. We got John Maxwell's stamp of approval next to our name. We've got 10,000 people on the John Maxwell team that want to work with us, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, my only hope is to look under every poopy diaper until I find those keys. If I got to dig through poop, that's what I'm going to do. So Chris, the will to win, brother, what do you want to add to that?
So just so I have the fellas back, Jay, I don't know where you went, boss. And I know, is it Bryn? I know your husband. The keys, I was that guy. And I decided to work smarter, not harder. So I got the Google Home, right? So now when I walk in the house, hey, Google, my keys are in the drawer. Because I get around here, I get scattered, and I got to leave. I look for my keys. Oh, wait a minute. Google, where's my keys? Your keys are in the drawer. Bam, grab my keys, get the Google Home. Won't have to worry about that no more. Just saying. All right. So guys, I want you to think about something. Right now, you have unlimited, untapped potential, and no matter what you want to do, right? My question to you is, do you feel that potential ever runs out? Why do you think people quit? No matter what it is. People quit because they run out of will. You never run out of potential. One of the things that I've seen in the industry is, you ever notice how much time it takes you to convince your downline of what's possible? Like, it's like you want more for people than they want for themselves. And then when you're supposed to be coaching them and guiding them, you're almost their therapist. And then you start taking on their stuff, and then you start getting flustered because you're like, wait a minute, I'm in the wrong lane. I'm supposed to be giving you the tools to grow your business, to help you go to a better place, not counseling you. Because I got 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 82, 300 other people that need my attention just like you do. And so guys, I feel like once we understand the value of will, listen, you're gonna use your will either unconsciously or consciously. You're gonna use it for a negative way, or you're gonna use it for a positive way. But your will is what gets you results. You know that part of you, I just see a bunch of beautiful babies on here. I see some potential babies that's working his way down the oven slope. So you think about when you're in labor. You have a will and determination to push that baby out of that body and manifest it to the world. Am I right? Think about the grit, the grind, the breathing, the uncomfortable, everything that you experience for that one moment, which is hands down the most special moment of your life. How is that same will any different when it's applied to yourself? It's not, guys. It's a choice. You choose to demonstrate that will. You choose to take your business from a 6-figure to a 7-figure. You choose to rank whatever rank you want. You choose to take your team wherever you want to take it. You choose to get in the best shape of your life. You choose to become a greater version of yourself. You choose to have more passion and more impact in the world. All with your will. The only difference between where you are now and where you want to be is if you're conscious in who you are and what you're willing to demonstrate, not only to yourself, but the people closest to you with your will.
Did I get muted, Micah? Am I good? Oh, I got muted for a second. I started to respond and it was like, you're muted. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like we've had enough of JC. It's CD time now. We muted Josh. No more of that. So guys, you gotta have the will, because you got something to fight for. Correct? Does everybody on this call have something to fight for? You got some people in your life that you're working for, to provide for, to set the example for. And I believe that the third thing you need to do if you're going to finish strong, it's maybe the most important thing in your business, maybe the most important thing in your life, is you have to consider the ripple effect. You must consider the ripple effect of your life and your purpose and your business. And Chris talked about this. I think it was on our podcast, mentioned something about generational curses.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember for me, the moment that I finally got real with myself and said, dude, you can't afford to pay your bills. You have to calculate your groceries on the freaking iPhone. Thank God for iPhones with their calculators, right? Otherwise, I'd have been getting like declined at the checkout line like crazy. You're the one who can't afford to give your kids birthday parties. You have two choices. You can either fix this or you can pass off this generational curse to your kids.
Mm.
Because the person that you choose to grow and evolve into is the person that you are training your kids to become. And if you don't grow or evolve, guess what? You trained them by default, whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
I was trained by default to have money problems because my parents never had money. And every single time they did get paid, it was like, okay, let's go to McDonald's and let's go to Walmart. And in one day, any extra money that we might have had, gone. And then it was struggle and suffer until the next paycheck. Struggle and suffer till the next paycheck. My whole life, I was taught basically anything you have, you better go use it because it might be gone by tomorrow. So my whole adult life was spent saying, okay, don't share it with anybody. You get a meal, someone wants to try something on your plate. I'm like, get off my plate. Joey doesn't share. The reason Joey doesn't share is because Joey's scared I can't get more food. I'm going to run out. Like, I'm going to starve to death. Like, I literally had it ingrained in me that money is this impossible thing that you can't control. And it's just something you got to, some people have it, some people don't. And I realized I got to fix this. I've also sat in a church my entire life watching people talk about the calling of God on their life that they never, ever pursued because it wasn't the right time. My church happens to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is kind of like for the church circle that I grew up in is kind of like the Jerusalem of our church circle because the Bible college is here in Tulsa. Actually, 2 of the Bible colleges are here in Tulsa. So the crazy thing about Tulsa, guys, is that almost every single person in every single church here moved here to go to Bible college, to go into the ministry. Probably very similar to Salt Lake City for you guys. All kinds of people come here to go to college, to get ordained, to go chase their passion and their dream. But 90% of them get stuck here talking about the dream, wishing the dream would come. Oh, well, you know, it's all in God's timing. You know, when God just gives me that release, or when what they're saying is when there's something external that speaks to me loud enough and clear enough for me to believe and actually have faith, I'll go put in action. In other words, instead of trusting and believing in the creator that birthed this in me, I'm going to put my faith and trust in all of these outward things, right? And so what happens is I realize if I don't pursue my dream and I don't find a way to fight through these fears and these emotions, because I don't care what it is you're trying to do. If you're trying to get in shape, start a business, or start a relationship, whatever it is, how many of you guys noticed there's obstacles? And most of the obstacles, and I would say almost all of the obstacles, are internal. They're not external. Guys, the Instagram algorithm is not that complicated. What's complicated is your limiting beliefs trying to talk you out of showing up because you don't have anything to offer. Because how many more times could you possibly tell your story? You've sold it 1 million times. Nobody's listening to that. I don't know why they're following you if they're not listening to that. But you start to convince yourself of all these things in your head. That's the hard part. And so I said, man, here's what I'm willing to do. This is gonna suck. But I am going to push through these fears day in and day out and day in and day out until I break through this brick wall and I get to a place in my life where I can live from a place of faith instead of a place of fear, so that my kids can watch me growing up live in faith, and it will be normal for them to pursue their dreams instead of them having to fight through it. And so I say, the obstacles that you face and that you take the time to push through and go through are the obstacles that I believe you remove for your children. And the obstacles that you ignore, the obstacles that you back down from, the brick walls that you sit and stare at instead of pushing through, are the ones that you hand off to your kids. Mm-hmm. Now, I think we're all human. We're all going to hand off something to our kids that we didn't want to, that they're going to have to figure out a way to go fix. My kids, might need a therapist when they grow up. We can't all do it right, but we can do everything that we at least know we should do to make it right. And when you come to something, and I believe there's some people on this call, because I've hung with you guys about 100 times and at like 4 different retreats. There's some people on this call. You got some people connected to you that you really care about. And you've been staring at the brick wall too long. And it's time to push through that thing. It's time to just make the decision. What is your guys' biggest saying? I remember them old school DVD days, CD. I was a P90X guy way, way, way back in the day. And it's got this quirky little theme song that comes on. Boom, boom, ba-da-da-dum, beach body. Does he even still do that? Like, I don't think it even does. Like, does that exist anymore?
Shift Job didn't have all that.
Oh, okay. Chris is the one that changed it. He's like, we don't know. No, please. But it pops up and it says, decide, commit, succeed.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to succeed, but don't nobody want to make the decision to commit. And a commitment is nothing more than a decision. It's not based on if one day to another. It's based on, no, this is the decision I made. I know we have a lot of people on this call that have spiritual beliefs, right? And what are your spiritual beliefs? They're a decision that you make. I make the decision to believe and live this way, and I don't let things happening out here alter those beliefs. That's what makes it a belief, correct? If you want to succeed in your business, you have to make the decision. This is what's going to happen. This is where I'm going to go. Doesn't mean you won't ever fall off, okay? But when you make a decision, you always get back on, because you have decided this is what's happening. I'm going to change my kid's future. And when you do that, guys, again, I think that you'll automatically go diamond, elite, superstar. You'll automatically do those things because you will be living with so much freaking passion. You'll find out there's very little competition when you step into that level of passion. Like, so little competition. And you will hit every rank and break every record just on default. I wasn't trying to outgrow my mentors on the John Maxwell team. I was trying to change my kids' future. But you see, I had something to fight for, and they didn't. They'd made multiple 6 figures for 20 years. They didn't have anything to really fight for. I had something to fight for. I had a reason to get up every single day and learn anything and everything that I could. And honestly, I learned social media from you guys. I learned social media from Beachbody coaches. I didn't know anything about social media. I just had to learn and take in everything I could. CD, you want to add anything to that?
How many of you guys on here have a mission statement for your business? Nice. So, next question. How many of you guys bless your business before you work every day? Meaning, before you get down, just thank God that you are fortunate that you have all the tools to help change people's lives and provide opportunities for them and different things like that. I believe in this whole concept we talked about earlier, this old you versus new you, right? And in this concept, I just believe in creating a reality. So it's like when you get in that zone and you start having gratitude for, what you already have, out in the universe, in the unseen realm, people are actually taking a step towards you. And so if you look at your team right now and you look at your following on social media, is it safe to say that everybody chose you? They did. Your people who follow you chose you. The people on your team chose you. But there was something that you've done, perhaps unconsciously, that drew them to you. That moment of positivity you had when you said, you know, I can do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this work. Some people were taking a step towards you. And then say you had a negative moment. Well, I don't know how this is going to work. And then some people took a step back from you. Then you made some consistent positive decisions. They kept forward. Next thing you know, you walk in a Target, seen an old friend, had your Beachbody apparel on. They was in a situation where they was looking for something new. Bam, got a new coach. You think that's by accident? No, you created that reality. You created that moment. And people always say when the student's ready, the teacher will show up, right? Well, my question to you is, think about how many people that are sitting in limbo waiting on you. And they're waiting on the greatest version of you because you have every answer that they need to help take them to the next level. You have all the tools, you have all the talents, but the question is, do you know it? I have this thing in my family where there's like generational curses. Number one, I was adopted. Number two, I was molested twice by the time I was 6. Pops wasn't in my life. My mom was a prostitute and a drug addict. So my blueprint was crazy. But as I got older, I started realizing I'm about to be just like them if I don't tap into the person I was created to be. I'm going to pass this curse on down to my family. We was on welfare. We had no family structure. My pops never showed me the blueprint of how to be a man, so I made a bunch of terrible decisions as I got to this point, navigating, trying to find my way. When all I needed was a glimpse of my potential, of my worth and my value. The real Chris Downing, just a glimpse. And in saying that, I said it on our calls before, you guys have ever seen movies and television shows you like, and they give you a preview of the next episode or next week's showing. And when you like this particular event, it engages you emotionally. You set your TiVo, you prepare for it, or you know when the movie's coming out in the movie theater, so you made plans with the babysitter so you and the husband or you and the wife can go, or you a friend, set a girls' night, put a theme on it. You go see this event, go see this movie, whatever it is. Doesn't that tell you when you see the preview that the show is already done? The event is already done. I can't tell you right now of a program that I have coming out because I don't. I can't give you a preview of it because it's not done. The reason why I'm saying this to you is how many visions have you had of your potential, your worth, your value? How many visions have you had? How many moments of clarity have you had? I can do this. And you never engaged in it. Is it safe to say if you had that vision, it's already done? So what's stopping you from accomplishing it or attaining it? I don't believe you have to chase it. I believe if you saw the preview, it's already done. I think you have to grow up internally to attain it. You got to reach a certain level so you can grasp it for several reasons. A, so you can handle it. B, so you can be responsible for it. Because to each level, too much is given, much is required. I want you to think about where you are in your business right now. Then I want you to realize where you want to go. And you got to ask yourself, if I already saw the vision of it, that means it's done. How do I get there? I got to grow. I got to stretch myself. I got to become a greater version of myself. I got to do something different that removes me from my old habits, my old thoughts, my old actions. Last thing, and then we'll close it up. How many people have known somebody who have busted their tail, lost 20, 30, 40, 50, 70, 80, 90, 100 pounds, lost a ton of weight, right? And they look in the mirror and they still see the overweight person. How? How do you lose all this weight, get all these compliments from all these people, and you telling me you look in the mirror and you still see the overweight person? You know what that means? That means the person missed the journey. They miss the journey. They miss the process. How many events have you been to where you get a coach or a public speaker and they tell you their rags to riches story? how they were doing this job, and then they did this and did that, and 6 months later their income doubled, and then 12 months later it doubled again, and in 2 years they became the CEO of a Fortune 5, whatever it is. And you get goosebumps, you get motivated by it. Everybody's kind of hype about it. And then you leave the event, you're still on fire, and then a week later, you lose the fire. You know why you lost that fire? Because that person didn't tell you the whole story. They showed you the carrot. They showed you what's possible, but they didn't tell you about the time they almost got a divorce, how they had to hide their car around the corner to prevent it from being repoed. They didn't tell you the journey. They just told you the end result. And the reason why I pride myself so hard on this platform to be transparent is I want you guys to know my past was ugly so you can respect where I am right now. Look at where you've been right now in your life, in your business, in your physical body. Look at where you're going. Your journey, there's somebody that needs to hear your story so you can make his story. You understand what I'm saying? They need to know the ugly. They need to know the bad. They need to know the setbacks. What they need to know is they need to know your grit, that you never gave up, that you leaned in instead of leaning out. That when in dark moments you realized you had to create a greater version of yourself. You had to speak affirmations. You had to believe in your visions. They need to know there was times you had to look in your checkbook and write extra zeros in there and confess, I thank God I have it all. Nothing missing, nothing broken, completeness. All my needs are met. They had to know about the times your kid was sick. You had to lay hands on him and pray for him that everything was well, even though the doctor said something else. You understand where I'm going with this? I'm trying to tell you, you got will. You got the power to become anything you want to be. It ain't about the numbers, guys. It's about your identity. It's not about the rank. It's about how many lives you can impact. Because guess what? When you leave this earth, when God rolled back that reel, he ain't going to talk about your rank. He's going to talk about how many people you impacted with the gifts and the talents and the tools that he gave you. You understand what I'm saying? Get the accolades, get the gifts, get the trophies, but most importantly, go get those people because they're waiting on you. Break every generational curse that's ever been in your family. During this time of the year, lean in. Lean in harder than you ever have. When the ball drops, guess what? Drop a new version of yourself to the world. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing in this world that can stop you but you. But you. There's only one of you. Look at your palm print. Nobody in this world got that design. You're the only person that got it. That means you were set aside, you unique, you different. You're the purple cow amongst the rest of the black and white cows. You got a purpose on this earth. And until you step in, lean in, recreate the person that you were created to be, and manifest that version to the world, you're always going to get the crumbs of life. You always going to get mediocrity. You always going to get less than your best. You owe that to yourself and your kids to be the greatest version of you so that you can change that generational curse and create what you want for you and your family. This is bigger than Beachbody. This is bigger than Josh Coates. This is bigger than Chris Down. This is about you. Everything we saying to you shouldn't be new, should be confirmation of what your greatest self already know. I'm done. I'm done. I have y'all on here for the next hour. I got ramped up. It took me about 50 minutes. Now I'm all ramped up. I'm done.
Chris, man, when Chris turns on, you don't know when it's going to happen, but when it does, man, people be like falling out in the spirit. That's just what happens. So here's what's up, man. Me and Chris put together a group. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I got some broccoli on the stove. Forgot about
it. So me and Chris, what we've done is, man, we did this podcast together a couple of weeks ago, and we were just jiving off of each other. And we're just like, man, there's just something here that just feels right. It's like the two of us come together, and it's like we got the same message, but we've got a little bit different approach. We've got a different angle. He's more about the 100% mindset transformation, and I'm more about taking the mindset and applying business principles and make sure you're putting in the right action. So we put together an end of year group for anyone who says, dude, I want to finish this year strong. Okay. But I want to go to church every single day to make sure I actually follow through. Guys, there's a reason that I listen to Grant Cardone every single morning while I work out, because I know if I'm going to give the kind of energy I give on a regular basis, teaching on 3 to 5 calls every single day, plus running social media and groups, if I'm going to give that kind of energy, I have to make sure I fill up on energy first. Okay. Some of you running challenge groups, running sneak peeks, running mentorship groups, running free groups, plus Instagram, plus Facebook. And it's like, if you're going to give like that, please, 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 please make sure that you are full. Please make sure that you are, as Chris said, when the ball drops, you get to take part in all of that energy. And so what me and Chris did is we said, what if the two of us team up and we put together a group going through the end of the year? And there's no crazy specific like focus, like, okay, today we're going to challenge you to go do blah, blah, blah. We understand that a lot of you are in like push groups in your team pages. A lot of you already doing stuff like that. Our focus is this. What if every single day, 6 days a week for the rest of the year, you plug into either Chris or me and we light your soul on fire? Now, obviously, we're going to teach some practical things that you can put to use. But what if we just bring it back to the roots? I believe that listening to Think and Grow Rich on repeat my first year in business is one of the reasons I'm here today. Because I found something that just told me the same thing over and over and over. It just kept reminding me and affirming me success can happen. It's happened for many. It can happen to you if you grab onto it. What you need, guys, I believe, whether it's me and Chris or not, you need to partner with someone who can help you get to your next level. And Micah is definitely one of those people, hands down, one of the best in the world at what she does. But sometimes you need another type of personality. You need another type of energy. Sometimes you need other humans in your life also. And so if you're someone who wants to go to church with me and Chris every 6 days a week for the rest of the year, you can join this group. It's called Finish Strong. And the total cost is $299, but we split it up into 2 payments of $149 per payment. And I actually texted J Ring last night because I knew I was going to hang with you guys today. I said, J Ring, I actually didn't even tell CD about this. I said, J Ring, can you get me a coupon code? Because tomorrow I'm going to be speaking with Micah's girls. And you guys have hung with me for the last like 3.5 years. Groups, retreats, events such as the Power of I Am. And I just want to do something special for you guys. So if you guys want to join this group, I'm going to give you a coupon code for 25% off. So it's $300 total or 2 payments of $149, or you can use the coupon code to get 25% off. Okay. So I'm going to drop the link here for you. And then we're going to let you get about your day because I know you guys have got a lot going on. That's the link. And the coupon code is just Finish Strong. We don't get like too smart with our coupon codes. It's just like super. The group's called Finish Strong. Coupon code's called Finish Strong. And Micah, you're more than welcome to extend that as well as the recording to your downline if you'd like to. I mean, obviously, like everyone's invited. We just so passionately want to help you reach your full potential. And that's what my mission statement says. I push entrepreneurs to reach their full potential. We want to help you get there, and we want to give you every tool you need to get there. And here's the thing. You can spend 100 hours studying the Instagram algorithm and still be the person who's not capable of having success. Or you can spend 100 hours working on yourself and your transformation and your belief and your confidence, and the Instagram algorithm will no longer matter as much as you thought it did. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't study Instagram. I'm not saying you shouldn't work on those things. But some of you, like Chris was talking about, some of you are trying to sell a program when you don't even believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself and you are not locked into who you are and who you were created to be, we can give you we can give you the best products in the world. We can give you a product where Joel has his shirt off for 80 days in a row and talks to you in his sexy voice, and it won't even matter. You won't be able to sell it because you don't believe in you. So you got to master.
What's wrong with me and my sexy?
Oh, I'm sorry, Chris.
I'm just checking.
We could do a program with CD. CD, I haven't seen you with your shirt off.
Man, some things you just got to keep close. I can't be talking about. Never mind.
I did go do a little Instagram scrolling through Chris's old profile pictures.
Man, I was all
Dang boy, when you dress up, you look good, bro. I was like, man, who is it? Who is this model? He's got like a jacket like over his shoulder, and he's like, I'm like, damn, you got some modeling going on. CD, man, you'd be bringing it. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We believe in you. We want to help you freaking crush, absolutely crush this year. Aaron been checking them out too. Aaron knows about CD's pictures. She knows.
Aaron is my buddy, man.
What's up, my gangster?
She gave me big hugs. That's my girl, man.
Aaron brings the gangster love.
Yeah. That's my girl. So before we close with this group, my calls are going to be on Sunday nights, Tuesday nights, and Thursday nights at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And I have a bit of a curriculum where each day is going to be a specific topic, and then we're just going to drill in. My whole part in this is, remember I talked about that old self versus new self, like really breaking that down, like helping you change your reality based on warring against your old self, based on my morning routine, and then helping you guys structure a routine based on your nutrition and your working out, just getting you to live in that new self reality before it physically exists, before you can look in the mirror and see the changes. I want you to see it with the eyes of your faith, connect with it with an elevated emotion, and then you know how to deliver that to your team and your loved ones as you help them transform also. It's a very powerful concept, but it's work. It really is, because you have the reality of what's today versus what you believe in to be is tomorrow. That makes sense. That's it.
That's what we're going to do. Micah?
Thank you guys so much. Always bringing it. Seriously, so many like goosebump moments, all the feels. Thank you for pouring into us, for real. Well, this is our like movers and shakers, action takers, success club earners. So I will definitely get the recording out to the rest of our crew, because we all need this. Everyone will benefit. And I hope a ton of you jump in this, because you guys, there's nothing more you can do for your business than master your mindset, figure out your own craft, because none of the things that I teach you matter whatsoever until you have that belief, until you have that clear vision of what you're working towards, and you find your fight. Like Ashley always talks about, nothing else matters. So I hope a lot of you take advantage of this and jump in. Bailey jumped in. Woo woo. Awesome.
Yeah. Also, how awesome that your movers and shakers group is the size of a normal team call. I love you guys so much. You guys are the best.
Ballers right here.
See you guys.
All right. See
Bye,
you guys.